Detroit Lions are getting some good news ahead of OTAs that are starting really, really soon. And I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait to talk about it because there is one player that we drafted high up last year that didn't see the field. He didn't. He wasn't on the field. In fact, throughout the entirety of the NFL season, he played 15 snaps according to PFF. It's not a lot for a third-round pick. And that man is none other than Brodric Martin. So in this video, we are going to talk about kind of the transformation his body seems to have made. We're going to compare it to another Lions defensive tackle. And then we're going to talk about what that could mean for the Detroit Lions this season. And more importantly, going beyond. We need to talk about this just for a second. So, as you can see here, Lions Wire has reported that Brodric Martin appears to have reshaped his body before his second Lions season. We're going to get some photos of him, and I guarantee they're going to be taking more photos when he arrives and starts working out at OTAs. All right? As you can see here, Martin was a weekly fixture on the Detroit Lions inactive player list in 2023. The third-round defensive tackle played in just 3 games. He was healthy all year. He played in 3 games. We knew this guy was going to be developmental. He was a guy that is coming out of a program that's not known to just be throwing out NFL blue chippers, all right, in Western Kentucky. He was a hilltopper, all right, and never mind. I was going to make a fat joke there, but I decided against it, and he is a big, big project. We know that. But this 6'5", 330-pound mountain of a man has turned into something completely different from what we are seeing. So first, I'm going to have you look at a couple of different pictures, couple of different side-by-sides. We all know that we are now entering in best shape of his life season. All right, it goes from OTAs in mid-May, and it lasts until we see him in the first preseason game, basically, or even beyond that. It almost goes all the way to the regular season. It's best shape of his life season. So this is just the beginning. There's more coming. But there's certain guys where it's like, all right, he's in good shape. That's a huge difference. While there's other guys where it's like, all right, he's in good shape. That's what I expect. All right, so here's Brodric Martin last year. This is warm-ups before Detroit's win over the Raiders the day before Halloween. All right, you can see he's got a baby fat, right? That's what it is, right here. All right, right? Like that. It is what it is. That's fine. This is Thursday's practice session. All right, they're saying notice the distinct loss of baby fat. Now, I think it could just be shaded. This picture doesn't quite do it for me. All right, this picture doesn't quite do it for me in saying oh yeah, he's smaller. But then there's another one. Joe Chapp did a good job blending the before and after with Martin in one photo on social media. The first photo, the one on the left, is going to be from last year's minicamp. So you see him at minicamp last year, and now you see him this year. There seems to be noticeable difference in this one. Seems to be a noticeable difference. He still doesn't have the definition in the arm that you'd love to see, but again, at 330 pounds, sometimes you just don't. All right? Sometimes you just don't. But if he's putting the work in and he's getting thinner, that's it. So first question to you, do you buy it? All right? I'll let you see it one more time. All right? Do you buy the body transformation? Is this like what we saw with Aleem McNeil? Remember, Aleem McNeil played his first couple of seasons at a larger weight and then absolutely devoted himself, went from 335 down to 315, and last year had a career year. At least in his third season of his career, had by far what the best year of his career was. Could we be seeing something similar from Brodric Martin in this? And also, what's the motivation behind it? So I like to think of a couple of different things as far as motivation goes. Motivation number one, he came in from Western Kentucky and realized, I'm not there. I'm just not there, and it took him a little while to acclimate and realize what life in the NFL looks like. All right, life in the NFL is different than life in Western Kentucky playing for that team where being big is good enough. Just being big is good enough. And then he's starting to realize, I need to shaping up. Number 2, maybe he started to look at our depth chart. All right, and he started to get a little bit nervous. Sure, he's a 3rd-round pick, so you're not going to sit here and you're not going to sit here and be like, oh, no, we're cutting him. No, that wouldn't happen. All right, but they brought in DJ Reader. They brought in Kyle Pecco. They drafted Mekhi Wingo. All of these guys added to what we already had last year. You already have players like Kaminsky and Davenport will play every once in a while on the inside. You have Josh Paschal that's going to play on the inside at times. And so now all of a sudden it's getting a lot more crowded in there. This is a better defensive line than it was last year. So if we're looking at this and we're looking and saying like, all right, this is a better defensive line than it was last year, the question has to be asked. Where does Brodric Martin fit in to the equation? And maybe he's seeing that and saying, like, I need to get ready. Also, we brought in DJ Reader. DJ Reader is a phenomenal defensive tackle, and he will be. He has a 2-year contract with us, and if everything goes perfectly, Brodric Martin gets to learn behind DJ Reader and gets to break out as soon as Reader is no longer on this team as he's getting older. He's getting older. And the hope is that this year Reader is the guy on the interior, and next year Martin kind of starts to almost supplant what Reader does. DJ Reader at his size and at his weight is absolutely remarkable. It's a very similar size and weight to what we have in Brodric Martin. So when you look at DJ Reader, he's a guy who's 6'3", 335 pounds. Brodric Martin, 6'5", 330. Maybe. He might be down more this year, right? You don't want him to get down too much. But the difference between DJ Reader and Brodric Martin is DJ Reader knows how to use it. Neither one of them, I mean, honestly, DJ was coming out of Clemson. He was a 5th-round pick, number 166 overall. So they actually used much more draft capital. I mean, Lions didn't use any capital on Reader because Reader was not drafted by the Lions. He was drafted by the Texans. But the Lions actually used more draft capital on Martin than the Texans did on Reader. So it's a very similar body shape that can be learned from there. Now, I was thinking about this. What kind of production did he have? You know, what kind of production did Brodric Martin have in college? And the answer was not a ton. Like, it's hard for D tackles to have great grades. I understand that. I'm not going to say that PFF had its best men on the Western Kentucky games. But it is kind of interesting to see which games he played well and which games he didn't. All right, played well against Indiana, a Power 5 opponent, kinda. All right, played well against, didn't play well, but played one of his top half games, believe it or not, against Auburn, a pretty normal game, another Power 5 opponent. So he showed some ability in college, but then last year, transitioning to the pros, honestly, I mean, like 28 snaps. I said 15 earlier. That was 15 run defense snaps. The brain. All right. So he's sitting here at 28 snaps, put together an overall grade that's nothing to write home about. That's for sure. But also something that you can be like, all right, if he was just getting by on just being big, right, and kind of out of shape, well, we can work with that, and we can get that grade up just by working on the technique and getting in shape. It's that simple. All right, what do you think? Is he the next man up for DJ Reader? Is he the replacement for Reader in a year to 2 years? Do you have that faith in him? Or are we going to see someone like Kyle Pecco getting his snaps this year? Are we going to see Levi Onwuzurike continue to make this team? Are we going to see Aleem McNeil slide over into that role because Brodric Martin isn't ready yet? Love to see Martin ready because that would help the rotation so much. It almost hurts. It would help the rotation so much. But he's looking good, and that is all we can ask for right now. All right, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. We're almost to 20,000. If you hadn't hit that subscribe button yet, please do. We want to be your go-to source for Lions content. We're almost at 20,000. Help us get over the hump. See ya.